All right, what is up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another live stream. I have made some adjustments to the setup, and I'm very, very excited for them. However, I don't know if they work. So please let me know in the live chat if you can see me okay, and if you can hear me okay. You should be able to see the chart as well. This is either going to be a lot worse than what we used to deal with, or actually pretty decent. And I'm excited to see where we're leaning. As you are coming into this video, ladies and gents, smash those likes up. We have got some very, very interesting price action to speak about in today's video, especially with regards to what we were discussing just yesterday, in yesterday's live stream. I want to know, how is the audio quality compared to my usual videos? This might even potentially be a better audio setup. It might be, I don't know. I haven't actually... I did very little testing for this live stream. Very, very little. So I'm a little bit nervous about how this might go. But yeah, okay, great. So Bitcoin has pretty much tagged the $64,000 price area here, which is amazing. That's very, very exciting news. And that is what I want to cover with you in this video. I want to be talking to you about that and other bits that are important. As you are coming in, ladies and gents, please do me a favor and smash those likes up. And we will be able to see more viewers coming in who would want to see this content. As always, I missed the pump. How are we in the live chat? I'm going to be reading through your comments throughout this live stream. What's up, Ronnie? Donna, how are you all doing? Yalla Bina, what does that mean? Sammy the $1 Million Man, thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate that. How much will Bitcoin go? Yeah, we're going to be diving into that in just a second. Thank you all for tuning in, ladies and gents. As usual, just one more time if we can smash those likes up, and let's go ahead and kick this thing off. We've seen Bitcoin pump beyond this line that we were discussing in the previous video, so if you were subscribed, shout out to you. This will not be taking you by surprise. What I said is that if we get above this level, it's probably going to be straight up to 64k. And the reason that I'm always correct about things like this, you know, I said the same thing about bouncing off this level, probably going to take us up to 64. The reason that I'm always correct about these kind of things, ladies and gents, is not rocket science. It's not because I'm special or mega smart or anything like that. It's because the market typically just has key levels that it bounces between, up here, down here, right? Below that, we've got a new one that we've developed kind of over here. And if we zoom out, the other levels are very, very obvious to see, right? I mean, 60k is one, 52 is another, 44 is another, 48 is another. There's just key levels that the market snaps to, okay? So even though you might see me as absolutely goddamn amazing, and you would be right, unfortunately, this is not that. This is just me telling you things which are very basic to see. And actually, it's not unfortunate. It's very fortunate because it means everyone can understand this and everyone can do it. That's obviously what we're aiming for on this YouTube channel. We're making relatively complex topics very digestible so that even the average person, and especially someone who's got a little bit of competence to pay attention, can really understand everything that's going on. That's what we're bringing here. If you appreciate that, do me a massive favor here in this live stream and smash those likes up. And obviously double check that you are subscribed to this YouTube channel. And while you are down there, Blowfin Exchange is the best in the game with no KYC and some beautiful offers. With the same trading that you're already doing, trade it on Blowfin, get free $5,000 bonus in your account, and you get to win these prizes based off your trading volume. It's not a chance, it's a guarantee, and it's just if you meet this trading volume within this time frame. So super, super cool stuff there. Linked below. Bybit remaining the best in the game, and obviously be mindful of your country's local regulations. Now, moving on, this is very important, the predictability that we're seeing here, because it's showing us that we are now encountering an important zone of resistance. It's no surprise that the upward price action not only slowed down as we got into this range, but has now temporarily topped out. You know, if we take a look at this on the hourly time frame, we haven't finished this hourly candle yet, but we will finish it in 3 minutes. So of course we'll be live in 3 minutes, and this is looking great. You know, from this particular perspective, we're getting a rejection where we want to get it. The reason I'm saying it's looking great is you see last time when we got these rejections, we had, you know, a little bit of a pullback and we tried again. It wasn't successful, and then we ended up moving down and crashing. This time, we have a similar chance to do that, right? We can top out over here, move a little bit lower over the next day or so, and then try again. And this is a really interesting decision point. This is something where things can really change. As we're going on in this live stream, ladies and gents, let me know how we're feeling in the live chat. Are we feeling bullish, bearish? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Tell me why. I want to have a discussion with you guys. Obviously, I love doing these live streams. You guys love participating in them. So let me know what you're thinking in the live chat, or of course, just in the comment section if you're watching the replay of this live stream. That's totally cool too. But here we have a very interesting kind of inflection point or decision point, basically, where we get to decide where is this thing going to go. If it pumps up through the resistance, then that means this is just another higher low, and we're going to start setting higher highs, and that's going to mean that we're back in the game. As far as I'm concerned, you know, there are very distinct things that we could be doing in this market, you know, but the best one is flipping resistance levels. And so we've already got above this resistance level. We haven't flipped it because flipping it means coming back down for support, but we don't need to flip it if we just skyrocket right through and flip this area, right? Because it means that we're still penetrating through resistance. I'm not going to say, although I'll still definitely welcome it, I'm not going to say that Bitcoin, in my opinion, has a strong requirement to come back down here. However, if we tie back some of the other things that we were talking about on this YouTube channel, it would actually make a lot of sense, and it would be very welcome. Because this $59,000 price area, which is obviously exactly the level that I've got drawn on this chart. Look at this, $60,000, a little bit lower. We got 59 down around over here. This price zone is the midpoint of the parallel channel that we've been looking at for some time. Now, again, nothing that I'm going over with you in these live streams or videos is inherently complicated. All you've got to do is rewind the stream if anything is, you know, something that you need to repeat. But I'm speaking to you in very normal English, okay? And if you've been subscribed to this channel, you're going to be very familiar with all of these concepts that we're covering here. This is a really nice pattern that we're dealing with on this chart because it is a large time frame bullish descending channel, okay? And again, you know, you guys have already seen this a million times. When you're looking at any standard kind of stock market image, you're going to see that move up. You're going to see that kind of falling descending channel, and then you're going to see the move continuing, okay? And this forms what's called the staircase to heaven, okay? So that's what we've got forming right here on a large time frame, and it's the most typical, most respected kind of pattern the chart can pull off. Sometimes we don't form it like this, but instead we form it like this, okay? And so what we've got here is just a sideways channel, but it's one and the same. It's all the same stuff. And I think that's very, very important to understand, because when you can start visualizing the market like this, then all of a sudden, shit like this becomes very predictable. You already know what's going to happen. If you've got the staircase to heaven going up, then this must be the staircase to hell. So, you know, it's very predictable. It's very easy to wrap your head around. When the market moves, it trends like this in the opposite direction briefly, and then it continues, and then it does it again, and then it continues, and again, and then it continues, right? Sometimes it's flatter, sometimes it's more obvious, but the characteristics are, I was going to say staring you in the face, but they're not. They're slapping you in the face. They're very, very obvious. And I think that's super, super important. Ladies and gents, I don't know why YouTube is so annoying with these streams, but if we can just smash those likes up, let's get this thing over 100. We're doing horrible for views right now compared to what we used to get. No idea why. YouTube's being mega, mega weird, but if you can help me solve that, I would appreciate that. Let's bring it back to the main chart, though. And if we do take a look at this main chart, we've got $64,000 here as a potential zone of resistance. And again, what I really like about this particular chart setup here is that we do have a very plausible kind of path now for Bitcoin to get above $64,000. Now, the first option that I outlined is we kind of, you know, we form a pullback down to around over here, let's say 62, and then we move up to resistance and then we blast through it. That would be great. Do I think that that's probable? Do I think that that's something Bitcoin can do? Yes, 100%. I'll talk about that later, but I think it's definitely possible, and I think the chances are not super low. Do I think that it's equally probable that we just get rejected and move down? Absolutely, yes. I think both options are very much on the table, but the good news, and the reason that I'm just not worried about this, is that we are seeing very clearly that we have support below us now, okay? And we found resistance on the way up, So it totally makes sense that we find support here again. I want to take a quick look at the fear and greed rating because this is something we did yesterday. And I told you guys that if we see a rating above 52, I'm going to sense trouble. And unfortunately, that's what the market has given us today. We've seen a rating above 52. Now, we're going to see this update in 6 hours, but you know how this works. I know how this works. We're probably going to see a significantly higher rating tomorrow. So, you know, this could be closer to 60 or 70. If we start jumping up that high, in my experience, that kind of optimism, especially when that optimism returns so quickly, it gets punished. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out for that. But I think really the real decision point is going to be 64. Now, the reason I say that is because kind of anything from 60 up to 64, you're very much in fake out territory. And fake outs can be quite big, right? Let's assume that Bitcoin goes on from here and actually starts setting brand new all-time highs and you get your X back and everything is perfect. Now, if that actually happens, that means that this was an 11% fake out. And now we're back above the zone. And to give you a sense of perspective, to get 11% above this support level, Bitcoin needs to get to our critical $67,000 resistance zone. We're going to come to that, and that's going to be the most important part of this live stream so far. So watch out for that. Make sure you don't lose attention for that, because that's going to be why you're here. We're going to come to the $67,000 zone right now, in a minute now. Now, but like I said, that does mean that this is an 11% fake out. Again, if we take a look at it from over here with this fake out, we're looking at a 6% fake out. So 6% up, that puts us at about $64,000. The point is that fake outs can stretch quite far, okay? And in my case that I'm kind of arguing right now on this YouTube live stream today is that the fake out for me could definitely easily come up as high as $64,000. So for me, getting above 64 brings us up to 67 as that next critical zone, which is the first thing that I spoke about in this live stream, because I was saying that when the market moves, it typically moves between key levels, right? It's when I was giving you the, the silly analogies of me being absolutely amazing, and you know how it's not me being amazing in this case; it's just common sense. And it's whatever. Obviously, we're just playing a stupid character for the stream. But what's important is that we understand that from these key ranges, you typically just gravitate straight to the next one. It's very, very typical. Again, like over here, take a look at this, for example. Let me give you guys a bigger circle that I can work with. Over here, we've got resistance up at 72 and support down at 67, and we just, ping pong between the two levels absolutely beautifully, and that actually works out so well for us. So the next zone is going to be up there at 67. But like I said, if we're looking at the possibility of a fake out, then we know that, in this case, if we start rallying up and setting all-time highs, this was an 11% fake out, this was a 6% fake out. It's pretty fair to say that getting above $64,000 is going to do a lot to clear our way to continue to move up, and really, very importantly, to show people like me, to show people like you, who don't get swept away with the hype, who pay attention to the facts, and who understand that support is support and resistance is resistance. It's going to show us that this is a pretty nice confirmed move, and it's something that's very tradable. And that's important because we all want to make money off this. I'm going to get to that angle in just a minute as well. There was a lot to cover in this super efficient live stream. But before I continue on, I want to see how we're feeling in this live stream. We've got a couple people saying that we're feeling bullish. There's too much liquidity under 50K to just blast off from here. So we've got Crypto Made here making a very strong, I think very valid argument, saying that there's a lot of liquidity under 50K all the way down here at like 40K and so on. For the market to just carry on. He's saying we need to grab the liquidity down here and then we can play upward again. You have a very good point. I don't agree, but I think that that if you were right, it wouldn't be surprising. We've got DG saying bottom is in, Fathom saying bullish. I'm sure you mean bullish. We've got someone else saying we're at resistance. I'll wait for a correction. Very, very smart. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Regarding a CME gap, do I have any opinion on this? Nope, don't like CME gaps, don't care. Sell when everyone is bullish. My mid pivot level of 59.5 is a CME gap right now. I don't care about the CME gaps. It's entirely possible it fills them. Again, we'll come to that in just a second when I start talking about trading opportunities. But yeah, definitely some interesting thoughts in the comment section. Continue to drop them in this live stream as we go on. And again, just do me a favor and smash those likes up. We're nearly at 100. Let's push it above 100 if you are finding this live stream useful, entertaining, and so on. Let's continue on here. And if we, again, take a look at that fake out probability, for me, getting above 64 really kind of rules that out and makes me feel a lot safer about where the market might go. So that's important. And it also gives me the opportunity to see Bitcoin get up to 67 and then flip 64 as support. Each of these things are great because they show me that the market is now in a more kind of bullish posture. And it tells me that I can personally start seeking long trades again. So that's very valuable to me. And it's not something that I am kind of sleeping on or neglecting to pay attention to. So I think that's important. Now, another thing that I want to discuss with you are the kind of trade setups that I see here. And this is where this gets a lot more interesting because now we have a lot to play with. If Bitcoin manages to get above $64,000 and hits this resistance zone, then 64 is one of the most obvious long positions I've ever seen in my trading career. The reason I'm saying that is because it's already a formidable level. It's already a very important zone of resistance and a very important zone of support. There's lots of evidence to suggest both of those things are true. And so I would expect that if we get above it, it should be easy to turn it into support. Additionally, $60,000 flat looks the same to me. And this potentially is more likely for Bitcoin to get down to because we're at resistance now, as one of our viewers correctly pointed out, and resistance is where rejections happen. Does it mean that that happens 100% of the time? No. Are we interested in being correct 100% of the time? No. Good for us. We don't need to worry about that. But that's very, very important because a lot of traders, especially amateurs and especially idiots, not necessarily the same people, but oftentimes you have to be an idiot to be an amateur, they are completely misguided about these kind of things. And they actually think that you've got to be right 100% of the time because they're coming at this from an education that comes from school or from corporate culture where being wrong gets punished very heavily. In trading, you do get punished, but it's just cost of doing business. And when you can see it that way, you're going to be a lot less emotionally attached and you're going to make much better decisions. If that's the kind of thing you want to work on, by the way, or other similar things, we do a lot of work with that with the exclusive program that I'm running. It's a 12-week program. It's one-to-one, and it is amazing. We've had amazing results from it. I've actually got a call with one of those members right after this stream, so I don't have too much longer on stream with you. But we do personal one-to-one calls, and we work through issues like that. It is expensive. It is very serious. I don't want to take anybody on who is not willing to work on themselves. But with this kind of program, which we've ran before, we've had amazing results. And if you want to get inside, you can reach out to me by following this link in the description and just ask me for details, and we'll send that over to you. Let's move on back to the video here. And what I think is very important to take note of is, if we do manage to kind of see some of those trading opportunities, just bear with, guys. If we do manage to see some of those trading opportunities, they could look like this for me. So the first most probable one that I said is probably going to be around here. And I've just got to choose where a stop loss goes. Now, I don't care about CME gaps, but because of what you guys said, and just the fact that the numbers line up with some of the areas that I'm already interested in, I'm going to put my stop loss below that CME gap. And so for me, I'm most interested in getting it just below this wick. It's a little bit wide. It's a little bit too wide. But to be honest, it doesn't matter because I'm going to move my stop loss to break even pretty quickly. This is a 3.2% risk. Now, up to the first target, which will be at $64,000, I've got a risk to reward of 2. That's okay. By a lot of people's measures, it should be higher. I don't mind too much. I don't look at risk to reward as diligently as other people look at it. I just don't think it's that important. But because the probability of making money on the trade is more important than the risk to reward, in my opinion, a lot of other people will disagree, and they will disagree with good mathematical backing for their disagreement. So, you've got to take this with a very strong pinch of salt and find your way. This is my way. Might not be correct. I don't even have a formal education in this stuff. This is just what I've been doing over the last 7 years. But I don't really care about that. That's the first target. Second target and main target will be $67,000 for me. That's a 3.35 risk to reward. This is much better. But I think that if you start getting above 64K, 67 is probably just a matter of time until we break it. I'm going to be looking for 72 and higher. This is the beauty of this kind of trade setup, is it's definitely very possible to turn this into a trade that I hold on to for a long time. Now, you might know a little something about me and holding on to trades because it's something that I'm actually very good at when I'm making money. Not only do I think I'm absolutely great at saving myself from losing money, I think I'm also pretty decent at helping myself make money. And if we take a look at this, Bybit's just actually introduced a new UI update, which is pretty sick. Let me show you this screenshot. It's not a screenshot here on Bybit, where you can actually see the real numbers that I'm working with, and obviously I can scroll, I can tap stuff, just so you can see that this is like legit. So that's what I'm looking at. 1900% on Bitcoin, 700%. I don't know why it's not focusing. 700%, 800% on Tron. These are positions that I entered quite a while back, but it didn't matter because I was just happy to hold on to them. So I'm super happy with that. If a position is paying me, I don't need to close it. That's what I'm describing here. And like I said, these two trades were made on Bybit, where you get up to $30,000 when you start trading using my link below. So you got to deposit and start trading, and then they're going to give you free money to trade with on top of that as a thank you. They are very much paying for your business, and it's free money for you to take, so definitely take advantage of it. Blowfin, linked at the top of the description right here, is by far the best no KYC option I've seen in the market, and they have got huge offers, thousands of dollars you're going to get for free to trade with, same as Bybit, and a Tesla Model 3 up for grabs based on your trading volume as well. So super cool stuff there. All very important that you check your country's regulations before you engage in any of this stuff though. Now, like I said, this is the kind of trade setup that I can easily kind of run with for a long time. So it's something that I'm personally quite interested in, and it's something I'm going to keep on, monitoring to see that if I did take this kind of trade, where would I kind of close it? Ladies and gents, I want to thank you all for smashing up those likes above 100. If we can get this even further, I would appreciate that. I've got a little bit more time left with you guys in this live stream, and then I am going to have to head off. So if you are finding this useful so far, this is a very focused, serious trading-related live stream. Honestly, my favorite, the only thing that I like to talk about, on YouTube. So if you do find it kind of useful, entertaining, or whatever, do me a favor and pump them up so we can push this stream out to more people who actually want to see them. But yeah, so this is the kind of trade that I could definitely very reasonably kind of keep on and open for a long time. A couple of targets, like I said, they're just going to be the key resistance areas we're already looking at: 64, 67, 72, and beyond. I think, I'd probably close a decent amount at each of these resistance levels. I'm not going to be too emotionally attached to kind of keeping the position open forever, because you don't know if it's actually going to get that high. And it's much more important, in my opinion, to just secure profits, because, if you're always aiming for a home run, what's actually very likely to happen is that you never really get the home run, but you do lose a lot of money on the way to getting there. And you'll realize that if you just kind of, especially over longer term perspectives, be it 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and so on, if you just kind of took a more controllable, 30%, 50% profit type approach, and you're not going for like the 700% or whatever, you're actually going to make more money in the long run. That's what I've seen, and that's what I've seen with a lot of other traders. Is that going to work for you? I have no idea, but that's kind of what I've been seeing in my experience here, so I think that's worth talking about. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for that first kind of trading opportunity. If we take a look at the second kind of trading opportunity that I outlined, this one is the exact same. I'm just going to be entering above 64. I'm sorry, at 64. And this is basically if Bitcoin gets up here and comes back down. These are the next kind of trades that I'd be seeing. And this, for a stop loss here, kind of the same deal. I'm looking at about 3% risk. My first target is again going to be over here, which is an even worse risk to reward ratio. However, again, I said probability of the trade making me money is more important, and you're going to see why over here. And I've actually got the wrong tool. This is more than a 1 risk to reward ratio. I just took the wrong tool here. So let me show this to you properly. It's going to look something a little bit more like this. So I'm looking at a 1.5 risk to reward. And again, I mentioned probability of the trade is more important to me than risk to reward, just my personal take. In order for me to enter this trade, Bitcoin would have had to first come up here, get rejected, come back down, and then it would continue to move up. And obviously, as we know, the more times we hit a resistance level, the more likely it is to break. On this occasion here, we hit the resistance level once, we failed. We hit it again, we failed even harder. We hit it a third time, and it worked, okay? So does that mean it's going to be 2 failures like last time and then we pump? Does it mean it's going to take a long time? I don't know, but what I do know is that this level, like all levels in this range, have been tested quite extensively now, and that to me means they're going to be a little bit less valid, all of them. They're going to be a little bit more mushy for all of them. So, especially now that we got above 60k. So if we're able to hold that, then I'm not upset if we break this level, and I do think that the overall probability of breaking this level on a second attempt will be high enough for me to risk taking this trade. Potentially. It's potential. I don't actually know yet. I haven't decided. And again, up to about 72k there as a main target, that's a 4 risk to reward ratio. now much better and much more digestible numbers, which I'm actually a lot happier to be working with. So I think that is super, super cool. Let's see what else we have in the live chat. Why did I say that if the price goes higher from here, then the move to 52 was a fake out? If you look at the price on daily or weekly, we are in a channel and this move was normal. You're absolutely correct, Mo. Good question. So the channel, well, I don't know which channel you're talking about, but the channel I'm talking about, which confirms what you said, is this. And it means that, you know, we're actually still in a kind of short midterm bearish trend, and most likely we're just going to capture resistance here and move back down to the bottom of the channel, and we're going to keep doing that until some miracle happens and we break out. That miracle could definitely happen up here. We don't know. If that's what you're talking about, Mo, great. If it's not, you're probably talking about something very similar. And I agree with you. From that perspective, we're not doing amazing in particular. However, this is one particular way to look at the market, and I agree with it. But the other thing that I understand is that we've hit this resistance level now many times. The first 2 times were quick, easy rejections. The next 2, 3, 4, 10 times, however you want to count it, was a lot more mushy. And again, mushy is a weird word for this because we're trying to be professional traders or whatever, or serious traders, but it's a mushy support level. It's just getting more soft. And it's clear that it's getting more soft because we had strong, quick rejections previously and then a weaker rejection over here. So to me, this level is already getting weaker. So that's one thing that immediately tells me that I'm not too worried about it. It also, by the way, happens to line up with 67K. And what I mentioned a little bit earlier, perhaps you weren't tuning in, and those of you that are watching live, you really have to rewind this stream because I'm not repeating anything. I did mention that the midpoint of this line is very important as potential support. It has been important as support, and it has been important as resistance. And so if it does flip into support again, then we've got an even easier opportunity to break that resistance on the next subsequent attempt there. So really good setups across the board here for Bitcoin, even if you're trying to be bearish. And I'm not trying to be bearish or bullish. I'm just trying to remain as objective as possible because I know that in order to trade successfully, you have to be completely 100% objective until you take a trade. And after you take a trade, you have to be completely 100% subjective in order to back that trade with confidence and actually stay inside of it. Very, very important nuance. You've got to be objective before you enter the trade and subjective in order to enter the trade and stay in it. Very, very important. Let's continue on here. So, and we will talk about this a little bit later on in the live stream anyway, because there's more to say on it. But yeah, that's to answer your question. Mo NZ saying, you're a great man. Thank you for explaining. Mate, thank you. You're great for the phenomenal question. So thank you as well, and you're welcome. But, that's something which I'd definitely be interested in for a potential trade setup. And again, I mean, there's going to be other things that I'll evaluate when the times come closer, be it a trade down here or a trade up here, in the scenarios that I outlined, based off what I see. Okay, I'm going to be seeing developments in the market, and if those developments look like things that make me want to trade, then I will trade. And actually, if we start coming back down to 60K, but something makes me feel like I'm kind of spooked and I don't want to trade it, then good. I'm not going to trade it. I'm not obligated to trade. I can do whatever the hell I like. And the good news is so can you. So, this actually puts you in a really nice kind of position of strength when you think of it this way. So I think that's really important. And I think that really covers a lot of very, very important details that we have here in this situation here. Now, if we take a look at Bitcoin's dominance, we're moving up, which is great. Is this going to be a situation where we kind of get the breakout and we start really trending back up where we should be? Very possible. I'm not going to hold my breath for it, but it's definitely possible. Ethereum is doing well as well. It's kind of following its footsteps of what happened last time. We're not showing as much strength as I would like if this thing is actually going to move up. But it's not a chart that you can do such normal kind of analysis on. I think it's still in anyone's court. It's still above support, so that's really good for the bulls. I still believe it's going to keep tumbling down. I haven't changed with my opinion, but I do understand why the bulls might feel differently. And if I was wrong, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing in the world on this one. The dollar still looking weak and bearish, and the S&P 500 still looking very strong. We have seen a little bit of kind of hesitancy over here for the S&P 500 across today's trading session, but it's nothing concerning at all. I think it's just more kind of business as usual. It's something that I'm very willing to kind of continue to watch and see how it plays out. So I'll be keeping you guys updated on what I think is going on over there. If we do bring it back to Bitcoin, I want to talk about the probability of Bitcoin breaking above these kind of local levels now. I think this is the most important thing. So like I said, I mean, there's a few different things we can do. One of the other things we can do is kind of like what happened last time, where we trade up at resistance and then we just kind of consolidate sideways and then we move up. Obviously, if you've been paying attention to this YouTube channel over the last months, that is the key overarching theory I've had for this entire trend, which is that we moved up and then we just kind of consolidated at all-time highs. We had a couple of fake outs along the way, including to the upside, which people have forgotten about. But for the most part, we have clearly been just trading sideways at resistance, consolidating. And when you do that, that's actually a really nice, easy way to predict that you're going to be breaking up, right? When you start hitting resistance and you just kind of hang out over there instead of kind of falling back down, that's actually a very strong sign that you're going to continue to move up. And we're doing it again on larger time frames. We've done it again on a very small time frame. These are characteristics. Bitcoin repeats them in all different shapes and sizes, but it does repeat them. It does rhyme with them quite often. So that's something which I think is probable. Again, if Bitcoin falls, there are support levels below, including 62. Nothing is important to me other than 60k flat. I'm going to be looking for ideally as close to the bottom of this range as possible. Phenomenal entry zones. I think a lot of people are potentially going to be taking profits down there, but we will probably see some bull stepping in. It also paints a new higher low in this market, which is absolutely great, and it also successfully paints a new higher high. Okay, we've been seeing highs like here, and then here, and then here, and now up here. So that to me makes it look really, really good. Now, I haven't said much about the bearish perspective, so let's go ahead and balance this all out and start talking about how this could actually go badly for Bitcoin. Now, I only think that this market will look bearish again if we lose 60k. And if we lose 60k, last time for me it was a little bit of like a maybe, I'm not sure, it could turn around, whatever. This time, it would be the third fake out in a serious way. If we end up falling down and recovering back up, I just don't see that happening. And it would also mean that we've had two rapid successions of breaking this support level. The first one over here, the second one perhaps no later than about 20 days. Okay, so we broke down over here on the 4th of July. If it happened soon, it would be the 20th of July. It's about 2 weeks later. So very, very rapid breakdowns of the support level. And so those factors combined would tell me that actually the market is not going to be able to hold above this particular level. It's probably going to fall significantly lower. And that's where I'm not going to expect 52. I'm going to expect a lot lower. The reason I'm not going to expect 52 is because we already front run that level. We already front ran that level, however you say it in past tense. And so if we go back down there, I'm not going to expect that the support level will work for Bitcoin. I'm going to have to look for lower price levels. I think it's going to be very bloody. I think it's going to be very uncomfortable. I think it's going to be very serious and very explosive. I think it's going to be amazing to trade. It's going to be the best blessing we could get because it's not only going to allow us to make money on the downside, it's going to give us really, really good entries. It's going to give us great entries for long-term spot positions, great entries for leveraged longs, which is what I'm personally interested in. And it's also going to allow much more time in the bull market, in my opinion, just with my kind of understanding, with whatever that's worth for being in this market for 7 years, of how long market cycles tend to last, specifically based off how many pullbacks we get and how long they last as well, okay? So we get to kind of string this out and enjoy more of the ride, which is obviously what we want. Eventually, it's going to be a bear market, and it's going to be shit, and it's going to be hard to trade. And thankfully, we're not there right now, so I think we should count our blessings a little bit. Especially because having that awareness actually allows us to make money, because we realize that this isn't going to last forever and we should take advantage of it. Again, that's why offers like this exclusive one-to-one program I was talking about are so valuable, because the people that are going to be most interested in this offer are going to be the people that understand that tweaking key things in their game could be the difference between making and losing money in their next trades, could be the difference between, minor or major things, but in either case, because it's an expensive investment, it is going to be something which, you're only going to take on if your losses are going to be something that you seriously want to consider kind of limiting, because the investment's going to be cheaper than losing money. That oftentimes that's what it comes down to. So check it out and reach out to me using this link below. It's a direct contact link to me. Don't search for me on Telegram and other stuff like that. You're just going to get impersonators. They'll scam you and take your money. It's happened before. Don't let it happen to you. The link is right here. Any links of my channel, any other YouTube channel, anyone you ever watch, just follow the official links. because you're very likely to get scammed if you search for them on your own, even if you're technically savvy. So just keep that in mind. Always want to remind you guys of these regulations in your countries if you do start kind of using anything in the description, stuff like that, including these exchange links here, which are absolutely great. But let's move on back to the video. Super important stuff. That's kind of what I'd be seeing if we do end up losing 60K. And for me, what's the invalidation going to be, right? Because here's the thing, right? Like, I think that if Bitcoin does end up falling down to, like, just, let's say, $57,000, for example, it's entirely possible that Bitcoin just kind of punches in a more macro higher low and then continues to move up from there afterwards, right? And I think that's really important because if that does end up happening, then, you know, we are looking at a fake out, but it's kind of okay, and it's just, you know, it's just mushy support. We can just put it that way, but it will be support that works, right? So it's hard to say exactly where the invalidation would be. I think it's very safe to say that the invalidation has to be here at its lowest point, right? Like, it's either here or higher, but it's not lower, because anything lower, it's getting very silly. And that's $56,200, and that's right below this low that we had here at the very beginning of May this year. Now, I think realistically, this is going to depend on risk tolerance, but it's quite easy to justify bringing this point of invalidation higher, perhaps even as high as $58,000, which is where I put that stop loss for that potential long trade if you guys were paying attention a little bit earlier on in this live stream, if you were tuned in and all that good stuff. Again, as usual, if you're not catching this stuff right when it comes out, it's probably because you're not subscribed, probably because you don't have the bell icon checked. And of course, if you do appreciate all this, do me a favor and smash those likes up as well, just to support the channel if you care for that. But that would be the kind of invalidation that I'm seeing there, you know, and that would be, you know, kind of my action plan. For now, the way I see it, we're back in the game, we're back in the zone, we're doing very well, and this is the sideways trading range that we've been in for a very long time. We now just have to prove that this is not a fake out, and the two ways I see to prove it is to get above 64 and flip it, or to get down to 60 and flip it. Either of those two things would definitely validate to me that this is no longer a bearish trend with a strong bull trap, meaning bulls get trapped here and then the price goes down. It will tell me that this is not a bull trap and that indeed we are going to continue to move up, and my invalidations are going to look like about 58 or 56. You know, there's going to be different levels depending on different people's kind of risk tolerance, but that's what I see, and anything below these kind of levels is where I'll be very open to the possibility of a $44,000 Bitcoin, and I would be open to that possibility happening quickly. So I'm going to be very interested in seeing how this continues to play out. I do think it's going to be dependent, at least to some extent, on the S&P 500 and the dollar and so on. However, that is in itself going to be a discussion for another day. There is one more thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about in this live stream, and I think it's actually super cool. It is Apex right here. I don't know if you guys can actually see it properly on my screen, but this is a decentralized exchange. It's a DEX. So again, no KYC obviously because it's decentralized. There is no, you know, company that you trade with here, and it's potentially the future of crypto trading. I am going to tell you more about this later and how you can gain access to it, but I did just want to kind of bring this to your attention for now in this live stream. I think that this is a pretty important new kind of thing coming up in the space, and the reason that I feel like it's important is because you know, if you want the extra flexibility and more importantly the access that crypto markets give you, then you don't really have a choice. You kind of have to use decentralized things. If you do anything else, you know, you're probably just going to be, you know, using something which is centralized, and if it's centralized, it beats the point of crypto. So, you know, I think that's really important. I just want to put this on your radar. They've got pretty decent trading volume. It's not as liquid as other centralized exchanges typically, because in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin's at 90 mil, so there are heavy drawbacks to using these kind of things. But it's something that's coming up, and I wanted to put it on your radar. I'll tell you more about it later in a different live stream or video, but I think that's interesting and important. I am going to have to get going, so I really hope that you have enjoyed this live stream so far. If you have, do me a favor and smash up those likes, double check that you are subscribed, and I will see you all in the next live stream. I think actually I'll stay on for one more minute and just take a couple questions if we have any, and then I'll probably call it from there. So let's see if we have any kind of final thoughts here. Thanks, Sammy. Great as always. You're very, very welcome, Alex. I don't know if there's anything particularly interesting to look at with Ethereum. It's just getting a nice bounce up as well. Got a request to look at gold, and gold is very clearly on the verge of a breakout by the looks of this. So if it can get above this particular level, I'd say just anywhere kind of above this high, which should be at about 2450, then I think we are flying. And you know, again, I was saying to you guys, I think a gold breakout's going to happen pretty quickly. It's been really nice, neat consolidation for 100 days. Totally possible that gold pumps up again. To be honest, this could actually be one of the key reasons that Bitcoin's moving up. It really could. So if we do see gold kind of breaking this, then 3,000, I mean, what else can you say? I mean, you know, it stopped just shy of 2,500. It's clearly working with psychological levels. We break up above 2,000 and we stop just shy of 2,500. So, you know, 2,900, 2,800 is being a potential next target. Super doable. 2,750, I don't know. But, you know, I think big breakouts coming for gold. Definitely something that I am interested in watching, but I think, you know, obviously Bitcoin is making us far more money, so we'll probably just keep paying attention to that. Vishal is asking me is asking me, do I trade 1 minute? The answer is no, I don't. Where do I see the major? I don't know what you mean by that. I'm an XRP guy. Should I like? No, you just shouldn't watch my YouTube channel. Where do I see the major levels of resistance? Yeah, it's like I said, 64, 67, 72, 74 all-time high. Since I became so rich in crypto, I realized that the crypto is the future because I invested 10K, I made up to 36 as weekly profit. I appreciate the help of your channel. You're very, very welcome, Thrasher Komako. We get absolutely very, very interesting usernames here on YouTube. You're very, very welcome, sir. I'm glad that the channel was able to help. Your profits sound amazing. They sound unrealistic, so I don't know if it's real, but if it's true, then good job, man. That's amazing. Michael's like, lol, is that why you think it's the future of crypto? That's obvious. I think everybody thinks crypto is the future, not because it's good tech, although it is. They don't understand the tech. I think it's the future because they're making money off it. And if something benefits you, it's very easy to rationalize it as being good, altruistic, innovative, and so on. The reality is you're just greedy. But you know what? I don't have a problem with that. I'm not trading crypto because I'm the most humble person on the planet, you know, and I got no shame saying that. No one else should. It's just trading, you know. It's not a big deal. But you know, I think that honesty with yourself pays you quite well in this game. So that's the skill that I developed since I started to trade. All right, ladies and gents, I'm going to be heading off. So I think it's good to buy altcoins here or wait for a bit more downside. I still haven't bought altcoins. I still think we're going to get more downside. Can't say what you should do, though. How do I think altcoins will perform? Yeah, like I said, I mean, Bitcoin dominance is going up and Bitcoin is going up. So it's a dangerous time for altcoins. I think it's going to get a whole lot worse. I've been saying that for a long time. I've been correct the entire time. And I think I'm going to continue to be correct moving forward. But I don't know. I can't see the future. Paul is asking, do I only give comments on positive replies? Well, yes, because it's my live stream. It's not your space. And your comments are quite stupid. I was going to block you, but I decided not to because I think you're actually a smart guy. You're just being annoying. Advertisements will happen on this channel. You're getting free content. I know that not everyone likes it. That's just how it is. So, you know, if it's a really big problem, then just don't watch. There's nothing else I can say. So, yes, I'm going to focus on good comments. Why would I waste my energy? Hi Sam, 45 years old and I have masters in finance. I'm enjoying watching your videos. Am I from Lebanese origin? No, sir. Very, very cool that you got a masters in finance and you're watching my videos and enjoying them. I'd love to speak to you because I'm just curious to know what kind of knowledge gaps I have. So just reach out to me on Telegram if you ever want a phone call or something like that. By the way, one other thing I wanted to say is if we've got any doctors watching this YouTube channel and if you're interested in my exclusive one-to-one thing that I mentioned, the really kind of big package that we've been offering with huge success, I want to give it to you for free, or at least some version of it for free. And I don't want anything from you other than your time. I just want to ask questions and basically interview you off camera. I'm just curious. And that's an offer which I want to open up to anyone that's been a doctor for kind of like over 5-10 years. Any type of doctor. Just reach out and, you know, we'll just have a little chat. Nothing, you know, nothing too crazy. I just wanted to put that out there. But I'm glad that you're enjoying my videos, dude. I really appreciate it. No, I'm not from Lebanon. Born and raised in the UK. My parents are from India and Pakistan. Your content is amazing, bro. Big up. Thank you very much. Good on you, Sammy. Pat Cap, I did not block you. Vishal, why 5 or 10 years? Because one of the questions I'm interested in asking is about system, and I want to do it in a way where it's not a podcast, because I'm very curious. I have a lot of questions. I want to ask follow-ups, and I can't do that in a podcast. But it's because, well, there's a really interesting video. I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys right now. I quit being a neurosurgeon. It's this video. Maybe some of you have already seen it. Super interesting guy, Gooby and Dooby. I was an MIT-educated neurosurgeon. Now I'm unemployed and alone in the mountains. And it's a 48-minute video, and he's covering some really, really interesting topics. And one of them is, well, the main thing is kind of a realization he got after basically a decade in the profession. And I just thought it was so interesting. I wished I could speak to him, and I know I probably can't. So yeah, I'm just curious to kind of gather information. Guys, watch this video. It's really interesting. It's good. It's good for health and stuff like that. Do I think August and September will be bad? I have no idea. I don't think so. Maybe not. I don't know. I have no idea. August could be. Maybe not September. I don't know, because we're coming in on election season, stuff like that. Paul, you're very welcome. Thank you from Holland. Sometimes I don't follow. That's okay, man. That's okay. Sammy is raised on dal and roti, having some right now. I don't like vegetarian food, man. That's a problem I have. I don't blame the guy. That's my goal as well. Yeah, I think it's most people's goals. Most people who have, you know, kind of lived a lot of life, they end up feeling similar. So I think that's interesting. Have you watched into any cycle and time work like 𝐁𝐥𝐨𝐅𝐬𝐴? Very, very briefly, I think, if I understood what you said correctly, but it wasn't really for me. I can look into it again, but not now. I do have to get going. So ladies and gents, thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. If you have enjoyed this one, you know exactly what to do. Smash up those likes, tick that bell, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.